Hey there, curious minds. Welcome to the deep dive.
We take your sources, cut through the noise, and help you get genuinely well-informed.
Today, we're embarking on a deep dive into some really fascinating accounts. They all center around this single, pretty explosive courtroom moment.
Yeah, a moment that, according to these sources, went way beyond just legal proceedings. It kind of became this powerful cultural event.
Exactly. We're looking at excerpts describing a really dramatic confrontation. It involves Jasmine Crockett.
Right, and the stakes here were clearly much higher than just, a verdict.
It wasn't just legal stuff. It was about dignity, accountability, maybe even the soul of justice itself.
That's what's so compelling. These sources show this clash, one unwavering voice of truth up against really entrenched power, and it left a mark.
So what we have in front of us are these detailed descriptions of a specific trial.
Focusing on the defense Jasmine Crockett presented, yeah.
Yeah.
And the reactions, the visceral reactions in the room.
And then the ripple effect her words had way beyond the courtroom walls. So our mission for you today is really to unpack how one single voice, rooted in just this unshakable conviction, can shatter that facade of institutional arrogance.
Yeah, get ready for some truly illuminating insights here.
Okay, so let's try and set the scene. Imagine a courtroom.
Yeah, buzzing with this palpable tension.
The sources, they paint a really vivid picture. You've got reporters like clutching their pens.
Cameras zoomed in, an audience just packed full of unspoken judgments.
And presiding over it all, Judge Richard Leon. He's described as, not easily rattled.
Known for his stoicism, his gravity. But even he was about to see something, well, extraordinary.
And right at the center of this whole arena, Jasmine Crockett.
Described as calm, poised, utterly unflinching.
One thing that really jumps out from the sources is the immediate impact of her opening words, like almost electric.
She didn't just speak, she declared, with this quiet ferocity, apparently, that just cut through everything.
If you came here expecting me to bow to arrogance, you chose the wrong courtroom.
Wow. And according to the accounts, those words, so audacious, but spoken with this certainty, defending the law itself, they just hung there.
Instantly silenced the room.
Yeah, not just the gallery. Even Judge Leon, known for being unreadable, he shifted.
His brow furrowed, apparently not in disapproval, but like one reporter said, in clear astonishment.
He leaned forward. It's like he went from being the detached judge to a front row witness.
That's incredible. How did she manage that impact? And the audience, what else did the sources say about their reaction? Beyond just silence.
Well, the sources really emphasized they weren't just passive observers there for, legal show.
Right.
They felt the gravity, like in their bones. A lot of them were immigrants, workers, families, people who had often felt dismissed by the system.
Treated as disposable, maybe?
Exactly. So they understood this wasn't just some technical legal point. It was a clash of values, a collision of narratives, really personal ones.
But Jasmine wasn't just defending herself.
No, she was defending them, their dignity, their place in a system that often tried to marginalize them.
So it wasn't about the legal jargon. It was about whether truth, spoken with conviction, could actually stand up to power trying to bend it.
Right. There's this poignant account of a woman in the back row actually wiping tears away, seeing her own struggles reflected and championed.
Wow. Okay, so to really get the scale of her defense, we need to understand the opposition, right? What she was up against.
Absolutely. The sources describe her opponents as men who came into the courtroom like they owned it.
Okay.
Cloaked not just in expensive suits, but in this aura of prestige, entitlement.
Their voices dripping with confidence, that kind of thing.
Yeah, the smooth confidence of people who genuinely seem to believe the rules don't quite apply to them. They moved with this, quiet assumption of victory already.
One source calls the lead attorney a polished figure with silver hair and a smirk permanently etched across his face.
Yeah, speaks with the ease of someone who thinks wealth and connections matter more than, facts.
And his colleagues?
Equally sharp, often pretending to be bored, treating Jasmine's words like nothing more than noise.
Checking their watches, maybe.
Yeah.
That dismissive air.
Exactly that. And this wasn't just personal arrogance, it was institutional, backed by this powerful machine, politicians, donors who expected deference.
Right. So if we connect that to the bigger picture, their strategy sounds familiar.
Oh yeah, almost a playbook. Overwhelmed with technical stuff, belittle with tone, distract with theatrics.
And when facts didn't fit their story,
They'd just cloak themselves in procedure, try to exhaust their opponents into giving up.
the sources mentioned they had a track record of winning like that. Not by being right, but just by out-resourcing, out-maneuvering.
Precisely. Mistaking their own arrogance for, like, unassailable authority.
Which raises that crucial question hanging in the air. What happens when that kind of unchecked systemic power finally meets its absolute match?
That is the core question, isn't it?
From the sources, can we see points where that unchecked power started to wobble before her big final stand? Any cracks showing early on?
Initially, no. Their confidence seemed, like, solid,
Okay.
radiating. But the sources do note these subtle shifts, like when Crockett started meticulously citing precedents, cross-referencing documents, showing up their oversimplifications. The lead attorney's smirk apparently twitched sometimes. His colleagues stopped checking their watches quite so obviously.
Ah, okay, so not quite faltering yet, but maybe irritation, surprise.
Exactly, a flicker of it. They just weren't used to that kind of rigorous, unyielding pushback.
So who was this woman? One daring to challenge them, shaking up even the judge.
Well, the sources reveal that long before this courtroom, Jasmine Crockett knew, like, intimately what it meant to fight battles nobody thought she could win.
Her story didn't start in marble halls or polished chambers.
And not at all. It started in neighborhoods where opportunity was scarce, where voices like hers were often just silenced, ignored. Her strength wasn't theoretical. It was lived, tested.
And a key thing is that her resolve was forged by direct experience, right? Often painful experience.
Yeah, totally. She grew up seeing her community struggle firsthand. Friends, neighbors dismissed, families processed by systems that just seemed blind to their humanity.
For many, that could lead to just resignation.
Yeah.
Giving up.
Right. But for Jasmine, it ignited something, a spark. She refused to accept that pain was normal, or that the law was only for the privileged.
Her path wasn't easy, though.
Far from it. The sources mention her nights spent studying law weren't lit by luxury lamps. They were fueled by exhaustion and sheer persistence.
There's that anecdote, too, about a senior law student telling her early on to be less passionate.
Yes, more procedural if she wanted to be taken seriously. Basically, a subtle, patronizing reminder. You don't belong here.
Wow.
Yet every barrier, every slight, it didn't break her. It sharpened her resolve, made her, well, dangerous to those relying on privilege, not principle.
It built this internal fortress of conviction.
Exactly, something her opponents just couldn't breach.
Okay, now let's get right into the heart of the confrontation itself.
The opposing attorneys, clearly rattled by her poise earlier, but not admitting it,
They lean into their usual tactics.
heavily. Sources describe them interrupting her, but with this mock politeness. Voices laced with condescension.
Trying to dismiss her defense as emotional flourishes.
Yes.
Accusing her of theatrics.
Yes, trying to put her back in what they thought was her place. Trying to bait her, make her lose composure.
Which brings up that point about how power tries to invalidate truth, right? Frame it as just emotion.
Exactly. Belittle her, diminish her arguments. But Jasmine didn't flinch?
She used silence.
As a weapon, yeah. Let their condescension just hang there until it felt brittle. Then her response, sharp, memorable, cut through it all.
Respect is earned by truth, not demanded through arrogance.
Right. And then she added, and today you have earned neither. A rhetorical judo move, turning it back on them.
And then she completely turned the tables. They challenge her to stick to the facts.
And she retorts, voice clear, resonant, you want facts? Then let's talk about the ones you keep running from.
The sources paint this picture of her picking up a paper.
A glint in her eye, reading aloud with this devastating precision, systematically taking their case apart.
Okay, what were the facts she laid out?
Well, fact one, their carefully curated evidence. It conspicuously left out key testimony.
From witnesses they called irrelevant.
Exactly. But these witnesses had sworn under oath, and their statements directly contradicted the prosecution's narrative. It wasn't an oversight, it felt deliberate.
Okay, fact two.
Their own filings, supposedly ironclad, but they had glaring internal contradictions. Arguing X on page 14, then the opposite on page 28.
Oh, wow. That must have exposed their disingenuousness.
Totally. Elicited gasps, then actual laughter from the gallery. You could tell it stung the opposing counsel.
And fact three. This seems crucial.
Perhaps the most powerful, she addressed their dismissal of her passion for justice as disqualifying.
How did she put it?
She stated with this undeniable force that passion does not negate facts.
Yeah.
It reveals their urgency. It highlights the human cost of the legal intricacies you so readily manipulate. Dismissing it is not the law. It is arrogance masquerading as impartiality.
That's powerful. So her unwavering conviction really shone through.
Absolutely. She basically said, you don't get to demand respect while peddling distortions.
Respect is earned through truth, accountability, honesty.
With the people this system is meant to serve. And today, that honesty is glaringly absent on your side of this courtroom.
She didn't just point out flaws. She exposed how they used procedure as a shield.
Exactly, a deliberate way to avoid accountability. Made their whole fortress of arrogance look suddenly paper-thin, transparent almost.
And her final statement left this undeniable mark.
Resonated through the now silent room. The facts stand, the contradictions are yours, the arrogance is yours. But the dignity belongs to the people.
A total mic drop moment, reframing the whole power dynamic.
Completely.
So the immediate impact in the courtroom, palpable, profound.
Oh, yeah. Sources describe the silence that was like a mix of reverence and awe.
Followed by applause.
A spontaneous ripple, yeah. Quickly hushed, but definitely there. Judge Leon, usually so impassive, he hesitated.
His eyes showing astonishment, like he knew he'd seen something fundamental shift.
That's the sense you get. And the opposing attorneys, moments before, so confident, now look shattered.
Their fortress of untouchability just ruined. Smirks gone, replaced by bewilderment.
Visible, almost comical bewilderment, yeah. It wasn't just a legal win, it was an illumination. Truth piercing through pretense.
And here's where it gets really interesting, right? Because that moment didn't stay in the courtroom.
Not at all. The second her counterattack landed, it wasn't just a victory there, it was a cultural spark. Ignited way beyond those walls.
Within minutes, the outside world just erupted.
Like wildfire. Her words spread across social media. Hashtags like #Crockett clapback, #truth over arrogance, trending globally.
Phones in the gallery must have lit up. Clips uploaded instantly.
Spreading her message completely unfiltered. I imagine that 12-second TikTok clip.
The line about respect being earned by truth, not distortions.
Yeah. Hitting 2 million views in under an hour, and it wasn't just lawyers reacting.
Celebrities, students, parents, community centers. Everyone dissecting it.
All over the world, they saw not just a lawyer arguing a case, but a courtroom warrior. A voice cutting through the noise, reminding people what truth sounds like when spoken without fear, with moral clarity.
The sources say it resonated because it voiced a frustration many felt but couldn't articulate.
That's exactly it.
And this wasn't just a U.S. thing.
No, international outlets picked it up, framed it as this rare moment where American politics, legal systems, and raw authenticity collided.
Even Judge Leon's astonished expression became symbolic.
Captured in photos, video stills, it circulated widely, became this visual marker of a power structure being jolted awake.
It's striking how one single act of truth, delivered with such dignity, could ignite this huge global conversation about accountability.
And the importance of speaking truth to power, yeah.
So what does all this mean for you, our listener?
Well, the sources show Jasmine Crockett's defense was way more than just rhetoric or clever legal moves.
It was a fundamental reframing of what justice should mean.
Exactly. Dignity over arrogance. Truth over distortion. Championing the marginalized over the privileged.
It showed powerfully that the loudest voice isn't always the truest one.
And that real lasting strength isn't in inherited authority, but in holding fast to principle, to facts.
This moment raised really important questions, didn't it? For a nation, maybe the world, grappling with fractures and trust issues.
Deeply important. Her words resonated with workers, immigrants, students, anyone who felt their dignity dismissed or their stories twisted by powerful institutions.
It was a potent reminder that courage against overwhelming power isn't just a legal strategy.
No, it's the very heartbeat of a truly just, equitable society.
And our sources conclude her defense left. Not despair, but hope.
A vibrant, tangible hope, yeah. If one woman, armed only with her story, her preparation, her unshaken will,
could command a courtroom, silence adversaries, ignite a country,
then what might millions of voices achieve when they also decide silence isn't acceptable anymore?
What kind of blueprint does this offer for challenging those entrenched systems, the ones that rely on their own seeming invulnerability?
Her defiance, her clarity, her conviction, they became more than just hers. They became a shared symbol.
Belonging to all of us now, a reminder of what's possible when truth refuses to bow.
Exactly.
Because ultimately, this story isn't just about one judge or one politician or one dramatic moment.
No, it's about that universal, timeless clash when arrogance, steeped in false authority, meets unyielding dignity.
And dignity absolutely refuses to yield.
And that, dear listener, is a lesson America, and really the world, can't afford to ignore.
We really hope this deep dive has given you plenty to think about, to discuss, maybe even to act upon.
Until next time, keep seeking those sparks of truth.